Hey everybody, it is Natalie from Power Moon Tarot. Hope everybody is doing well out there. It is very cold time of year. We are moving towards the end of winter, hopefully, but it has been a time. And for those of you that are wanting to check in here regarding the Mars retrograde, we've been having a Mars retrograde since December 6th, and the retrograde will be over February 23rd. So that's about 2.5 months that Mars is retrograde, and it started in Leo and it retrograded back into Cancer, and it's been there in Cancer since early January. And for those of you that have placements in Leo or Cancer, and you know that this retrograde has been hitting you pretty hard, and you feel like you've been buried underneath the earth here for a while, get ready for Mars to go direct. And next week, Mars will be going direct at 17 degrees Cancer, and I think we're all ready for that. So with that, let's go ahead and look at a recap for you of this Mars retrograde and lessons that you can take moving forward. And we're going to choose by picking a pile. Pile number 1 is the Temple of Truth and the throat chakra. If you're drawn to this image, you'll choose pile number 1. Pile number 2 is the Soul Star activation. Okay, if you're feeling this image, you'll choose pile number 2. And for pile number 3, we have the Earth Star activation. And if you're feeling this energy, you will choose pile number 3. And so I'm going to go directly to you guys can go directly to the description box below to choose your pile. And feel free to watch more than one pile if you feel more than one really calling to you today. And for those of you that would like to follow me on social media, I do have a Blue Sky account. You can follow me at Natalie H Astrology at Blue Sky. And for those of you that would like a personal tarot reading with me, details are in the description box below for how to receive one. And if you'd like a natal chart reading, details for how to receive one are below. And with that, let's go ahead and begin. Pile number 1, welcome to your reading. You chose the Temple of Truth, and today's reading is regarding the Mars retrograde. And we do have Mars moving direct at 17 degrees Cancer on February 23rd. So hopefully we have, I know it's been retrograde for about the last 2.5 months, and we are going to see what energies have been trying to reach you during this Mars retrograde and what you can take from it moving forward. Okay, what wisdom can you take from it moving forward? Where have you been and where are you headed? So let's go ahead and take a look. For my pile number 1s, it shows the Temple of Truth. And I love you guys have the blue deck here, the Cosmic Seed deck. And you chose the Temple of Truth, which has to do with the throat chakra, being aware of how we speak, being aware of how others speak to us as well. Okay, and let's go ahead and take a quick peek at what lessons were learned here. We have the 10 of Coins on the bottom of the deck. And I love this because we have the elephants on this 10 of Coins, and elephants are deeply emotional, deeply intuitive beings, and they also take care of one another, is the image that we're seeing here, is of, you know, a mom and a dad elephant taking care of the baby elephant. Okay, and this retrograde has been in Cancer for a good portion of it. And, you know, being able to be nurtured and relied upon, to be responsible for something, that can definitely be coming up during this retrograde. Now, let's take a look. We have the Master of Swords. Okay, that's going to be the King of Swords. We've got the Nurture of Swords. That's going to be the Queen of Swords. And we have the Nurture of Coins. That is going to be the Queen of Pentacles. So interesting, all court cards here. And there's something about, in your pile, about assuming the worst, right? Assuming the worst when you hear something. And there's also about being influenced by who's around you and who you're talking to. Pile number 1. So we are going to go ahead, and perhaps maybe for some of you it's been like, I don't believe this person anymore. I don't believe what they're telling me. I don't think that what they're telling me is right. And being kind of suspicious of somebody is what I see here. Okay, or not liking what somebody is saying, or not liking how someone is talking to you or treating you. So pile number 1, we have the element of air, communication, right? Communication, highly important. We have deception. A slippery rope erodes trust. Honesty fosters connection and authenticity. Transparency, okay? Maybe some of you have had to have a conversation with somebody about transparency, okay? And maybe some of you have realized that there is somebody who hasn't been telling you the whole truth, that there is somebody that has been lying to you and hasn't been 100% honest with you. Pile number 1, okay? And that's why you have the Temple of Truth, which is quite interesting there. And, you know, the worst thing is when we lie to ourselves about somebody, and then another person has to show us the truth about that person. And we can be very annoyed regarding that person wasting our time, or we can just get very annoyed with that, okay? And for some of you here, this could be you are an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and you're dealing with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, okay? Because we're definitely having the air and earth pop up in this reading. And I feel like for you guys, you're saying, I'm going to be good. No matter what, I am going to be good. And I feel like you guys are in the position of having to talk to someone who hasn't been telling you the truth about something, okay? And you could be talking to that person on behalf of another person who normally is very good at communicating, or who normally is very good at speaking, but for whatever reason, they feel held back from saying something, okay? And it put you in the position of having to say something. I feel like pile number 1, and you're like, I know that this person isn't trying to lie to me, because I will shank this motherfucker if they try to lie to me. Now, some of you, this could be a best friend or a partner, somebody in your life who you're very defensive over, and someone who you got their back, okay, pile number 1. And this could be like, you know, this person fell through and didn't honor the contract between you and your significant other. I am getting something about a family situation, or a situation where, for those of you that do have significant others, okay, or someone that you really care about in that way, have you gotten into a position of having to defend that person, of having to call out someone else for what they've been saying or doing to that person? And for some of you, this could be a brother, it could be somebody that you're really close to, that you're like, I can't believe that this person thought that they could get away with this. I can't believe that they thought that they could talk to my person this way, or talk to my family this way, or my friend this way, or my love this way. Like, this is fucked up. And I feel like you guys are really taking the role of like Dragon Slayer here, pile number one. Like, you're not going to talk to someone that I care about that way. And I feel like this person is continuing to talk to this quote unquote bad guy or bad girl in your guys' life. They're keeping the lines of communication open, but you're calling bullshit and saying, no, I don't agree. Like, I don't think you're telling the truth. I don't think you have good things. I don't think you're being a good person to the people that I care about. I can see you lying, and I can see you backpedaling and lying 100 miles away, okay, is what I feel. Pile number one. And during this Mars retrograde, you may have gotten very good at seeing BS for what it is and having to be in the position of calling it out. Now, it's uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable because maybe this person you're defending is still talking to this person, or still wants to believe what they're saying, or is giving this other person the benefit of the doubt. And so it puts you kind of in the weird position of having to quote unquote be the bitch in the situation. But I mean, yeah, I feel like you guys are like, no, if I see somebody talking shit about a person that I care about and they're too nice to say anything, or they don't want to say anything, I will step up to the plate, okay? We have conjunction here, okay? And sometimes our alignment with someone else can just, the more time that we spend with someone, or the more time that we are around someone, the more we realize what BS they are, what BS they're slinging, file number one. And I feel like you guys are like, oh yeah, Natalie, this person is slinging BS all over the place. And the more time I spend around this person, and the more time I spend talking to this person, the more I realize that they are being bullshit, okay? And I'm seeing an S here, so somebody here could also feel like somebody could have lied about having some type of itis. If you have like itis, like tetanitis or itis, a condition that ends with itis, right? Like a person lying about being sick, or lying about, and you could say, yeah, this person isn't sick, they're perfectly healthy, they're doing fine. They're lying about having like a condition or something, okay? And the more attention they get, the more powerful they think that they are, and they're trying to get alignment with my person in life, and it's bullshit because they're lying, okay? So we have star power. You need engaging work that will let your talent shine. You are a natural actor and influencer. You attract fame and fortune, okay? And this could be somebody in your life, pile number one, who has, who's a really good communicator, who has a really good business idea, or has like, a lot of really good things to say. And it's like they've got a lot of star power surrounding them, and that could be attracting a lot of riffraff, or a lot of people who are lying about something to try to get attention, okay? And yeah, we've got star power, somebody trying to take advantage. That, having a lot of charisma and star power can attract people who are users and who are trying to take advantage. We have frozen. There may be a hiring freeze or no new work now. Being aloof can leave you out in the cold. A warm follow-up gets you in the door, okay? And it's interesting because we've got star power, and then we've got frozen, right? So somebody wants to communicate, but you're wanting to ice that person out. You don't think that they're a good person for this other person to be collaborating with. It's like, no, this person has a lot of star power and a lot of charisma. But what I see is I see you being very protective of somebody that you care about, because somebody who is taking advantage is on the fringes here, and you're like, I am gonna ice that person out. Okay, we have Hilarion and Divine Healing. Honor your sensitivity, retreat and recharge to heal. Your light can support others. Okay, and maybe that is something that you're like, okay, I feel like this situation like is really pissed me off, and I don't really want this person around the people that I love and care about, and I am going to retreat from this situation and recharge my batteries so I can heal. Okay. And and perhaps this person that has been trying to kind of get in on the inside here, pile number one, has decided to back up or back off. Okay. And you're like, that's what I thought. They should be backing off, or they should be not trying to infiltrate what we have going on here. We have Anubis and the Arbiter of Truth. Yeah, and this is the Temple of Truth, right? And we have perseverance, okay, neutrality, and obligation. All right, and sometimes when we have an obligation to something, or we've committed to something, we try our best to be neutral and to stay open to the lines of communication, right? We try our best to, I'm seeing something about a chair too. Maybe there was some discussion about a chair, or a fight about a chair, or a fight about like the seating arrangements, or who is going to sit where, or who is going to sit by who, type of thing. Okay. But there's a lot of complications going on here because we have 3 court cards. So at the end of the day, we've got somebody who would like to preserve a working relationship and keep things very neutral, and because they've made an obligation. And then we've got another person saying, fuck that obligation. That person lied to us. They are acting like, they're so helpful, or they're bringing all this to the table, but I don't trust them. Okay. They're pissing me off and I don't trust them. And there's a need to want to ice that person out. Now, the person being iced out could be a person who says that they're a healer, a person who is into natural medicine, a person who is into botany, gardening, tinctures, natural holistic medicine. Okay. But there's a person in the middle here who does not believe what this person is doing, or who doesn't like what they're doing, or who thinks that they are lying about something, or lying about curing an illness that they didn't even have. Okay. So there could be, and we have this star power and social media and influencer. So, when somebody really trusts what you have to say, and you have a brand of being trustworthy, and other people are brought onto the scene who are maybe not as trustworthy, there can be a lot of suspicion and a lot of and I see somebody being iced out here because it's like, I don't trust you. Someone's trying to be neutral towards that person because they made an agreement to do some type of collaboration with them. But it's like, no, I call bullshit. Okay. I think you're lying. I don't think you're telling me the truth here. We have retrograde and review. Yeah, this whole thing is about retrogradations, or when a planet is retrograde, That's what we're doing. We're looking at obligations. We're looking at places where we've been very neutral and open to communication, where we now realize that someone is full of shit or lying about something, and we're deciding to take a look at that and review it and say, I don't think that this person is telling me the truth, okay? And perhaps it is creating a review or a retrograde around a situation before in which you were neutral or you accepted it as an obligation and you're like, yeah, the person is a lot. Yeah, sometimes they're very like ego focused or self focused. Yeah, sometimes this person can be a lot, but I'm invested in keeping the relationship neutral because we have this thing that we're working on together. And there could be a sense of, financial interests here being tied together, and two people who have a really big following on social media and one who has a smaller following on social media, but they've all gotten together to work on something together. But there definitely is like a quote unquote leader of the pack or somebody who is like most influential. All right. And anyway, three's a crowd, pile number three. Or pile number one. I'm definitely feeling that here. We have peaks of joy. Okay, and this could be a situation you were really excited about in the past, and then we have perfect timing here, okay? And that's something that I think that you can learn about, pile number one, going forward with this Mars retrograde, that sometimes everything comes together at the perfect moment and everyone's in a good mood and everyone's having a good time, and everybody comes together and there is like an instantaneous moment of creativity where everybody is kind of profiting from the endeavor and everyone's doing well and everyone's cashing in on something, or it's just the perfect timing of everybody coming together for the floodgates to be opened to something more, okay? But at the same time, and maybe there was like some real joyful healing moments, and we're thinking back on a time when things were a little bit nicer and there wasn't like this suspicion or defensiveness going on, okay? But this Mars retrograde has definitely taught you something about timing and how things can be like perfect in a moment, but later on maybe can, upon looking back at it, it's like, oh, I think that this person lied. Oh, I think that this person was using us. Or I think that this person was not telling the truth about this thing, okay? Now, there's a lesson here for, appreciating for something for what it was in that moment and enjoying it in the moment. But, and if you look back on it and it's like, well, I feel taken advantage of, or I don't feel like this person was honest, okay? I understand like being pissed or wanting to call that out for sure. It doesn't mean that at the moment there wasn't some magic or there wasn't some really good thing happening or like a good way to look at the situation. It just means that later on down the road, like the timing is what it is, and it could be good at one moment, but then that moment passes and it's like, I no longer want to work with this person anymore, or this isn't really what I want anymore. Okay. And so that could definitely be something coming up around this retrograde: negotiations, obligations, timing, stuff like that. Whether to call someone out on something or not. Okay. And I actually feel the situation after the retrograde is going to get better, pile number one. Okay. So maybe you just want to hold off a little bit until after the retrograde is over. So pile number 1, that is what I am getting for you. I hope that that reading resonated, and I'm wishing you the very best. Let's move on to pile number 2. Oops. Okay. Pile number 2, welcome to your reading. You chose Soul Star Activation, and we are going to find out. We are going to get a Mars retrograde recap for you going on today. Now, Mars has been retrograde in Leo and Cancer since early December. We've been dealing with this energy. Okay, so think about what's been going on in your life for the last couple of months, and what lessons can be learned from that and what we can take going forward, okay? So let's go ahead and find out for my beautiful pile number 2s. Let's get a Mars retrograde recap for pile number 2, please. And let's see what is a good lesson to take from it all going forward. For pile number 2, please. Mars retrograde recap. There we go. Fool on the bottom of the deck. We love us some Fool. Pile number 2. And we've got the 2 of Swords, 7 of Swords, and Ace of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay, pile number 2. And there is something here about just going ahead and doing something and worrying about the consequences later, or not having all the information that you need to make a decision and trying something and going for it anyway. Pile number 2, okay? So we can't be wasting those opportunities, right? Because they come around once in a blue moon, and we don't want to close ourselves off to further insights. All right, and the 7 of Swords is a bit of a troublemaker. All right, and the 7 of Swords is like walking backwards. It really does give that retrograde motion. And there is something about this time period where it's like, okay, I'm distracted, I'm busy, I'm working on something new, and it's interesting and it is piquing my interest, but I'm also like trying to stay calm and maybe not having the most energy with the 2 of Swords, you know. And sometimes for people for Mars retrograde, they can find themselves, because Mars is the planet of action and movement, so it can find ourselves being like more klutzy, or running into things more often, or not watching where we're going and kind of like running into things, okay? But in doing that, there's like a new opportunity that you accidentally kind of like trip over, and it appears there for you. So let's see what we have. We have the element of earth, okay? We have control issues. Yeah, so fear of losing power or false security leads to vulnerability. Release, trust, and empowerment, okay? And, yeah. And the element of earth, okay, can definitely be like more closed off. Like, I don't want to hear your suggestions, or I don't really want to be open-minded about this issue. I don't really want to, like, I've settled in my opinion about something, and I'm not going to change my mind. But then there's somebody who's changing their mind all the time. And definitely, you know, Mars retrogrades can create some hissy fits around things that we feel like we're changing our mind a lot because we want control in a situation, or we want to feel free to change our mind a lot about something, because we want to be the one to leave if we have to, or we want to be the one to make that decision, okay? And we have square and challenge, okay? So some of you, this Mars retrograde could be squaring your natal Mars, okay? For those of you that have, Mars in Aries or Mars in Libra, this retrograde could be squaring that. Also, for those of you that have Mars in Scorpio or Mars in Taurus, like this this retrograde could definitely be, because could be squaring your natal Mars at various points, creating tension, creating stalling things out, creating pressure, creating like control issues. Okay, I feel like with the Ace of Pentacles, it's all going to work out at the end of the day, pile number 2, like it's all going to be okay. But there is a square or a challenge around how to approach something new or how to get something done. And there's a lot of arguing and fighting for resources, I feel like, with the element of earth here. And perhaps you're trying to stay out of it, pile number 2, and you know that Mars is retrograde and you're trying to stay neutral, okay? You're like, Natalie, I'm Switzerland. And yeah, there are people that are, it seems like they're trying to get under my skin, or it seems like they're trying to take control over something. But I'm like Switzerland, I'm neutral, okay? And I don't want to react to people who are trying to set me off and control a situation. Okay, we have people skills. Yeah, that's you guys. You're trying to chill. We have a pineapple with sunglasses on. I'm trying to chill, all right? I'm trying to be the diplomat in the situation. I don't want things to get out of control, all right? And maybe because a lot of people have been being very demanding or very controlling, you've had to change your plans like plenty of times to accommodate this. And you've also had to like rework things or redo things, or constantly like be on your toes or walking on eggshells, or constantly be suggesting new ideas and walking on eggshells and offering new benefits to something, because you can tell that certain people are getting very flustered during this Mars retrograde and wanting things their way, okay? And at some point during the retrograde, Mars was opposing Pluto as well, especially like in early December when Mars was in Leo and Pluto was in Aquarius. For those first couple weeks in December, yeah, like there was that, actually for like the whole month of December until we got into early January. Basically, Mars was opposing Pluto, and people can get real foul during those times, right? Control issues come up. People who are constantly like being non-committal because they want to be able to control the situation or control the resources or the money or the flow of goods in a particular situation. And I feel like this Mars retrograde has demanded that you guys be really good, because some of you here, I feel like Mars has been retrograde, all right? And not to react to people's control issues or temper tantrums. You know better, okay? And I feel like maybe there is, with this Two of Swords, there is like maybe a disassociation, or like I need to keep the peace, or I'm not going to let this bother me. I'm going to stay calm and rational. Mentally, I'm going to stay calm and rational. Now, for those of you that have, like I said, the Two of Swords in the tarot is a Moon and Libra card. For those of you that have Libra planets, like this retrograde is definitely creating a challenge because it is squaring your Libra planets. Now, for those of you that have planets in the later degrees of Libra, it is squaring your planets, okay? And what that could be saying is people are highly sensitive and throwing hissy fits and wanting to be the main like center of attention on things and are wanting to get their way. And I'm having to tap dance around a lot of that and adjust my schedule and adjust what I'm doing in order to deal with these people who are being very challenging. And I'm having to be the one responsible to keep my inner harmony intact while others are being controlling and attacking, okay? And that takes a lot, pile number 2. That takes a lot to be the calm, centered, rational person, or even at sometimes just completely disassociate and not pay attention and just focus on what you're trying to do so you don't get sucked into the drama. We have adventure. You make exciting work moves that could take you outdoors or on a trip. You will need to climb steadily to reach your financial goals, okay? And this can be where, you know, with the Ace of Pentacles, money is a challenge, or there is some renegotiation around monetary issues, all right? And you're having to rebalance and refocus what you're doing here because of financial issues coming up or things coming, you know, and sometimes financial issues can be like, well, I have to change my plans. It's not going to go like I thought it was going to go, right? And for some of you, this retrograde could be affecting your second house of money. For those of you that know your chart, but it's like, I want to travel, or I want to go somewhere, or I want to do something. It could also be affecting your 9th house as well, this retrograde. But it's like, I want to go somewhere. I want to do something. I'm up to the challenge. I know I have to be flexible, okay? I know I'm going to have to be quick on my feet and come up with a new plan here and be flexible when it comes to travel and money and things like that, okay? And I'm also going to have to be like a calming, non-reactive person in this situation, okay? And with the element of earth, again, what's practical? What's logical? What, you know, helping others plan for an important adventure or an important trip is something that you guys could be trying to do. But here's the thing, pile number 2. I feel like you're really trying to help with something, but people could be reading it the wrong way and feel like you're being controlling or feel like you're, you know, trying to take the reins in this situation. And honestly, with the Fool on the bottom of the deck, I feel like you guys are saying, Natalie, I really don't give a fuck, okay? Underneath it all, I just want to see things go well. I don't want there to be drama. And if I have to switch my plans up because somebody's having a freak out control fest about it, that's fine, okay? I know that I'm not going to, it's better right now to be light on your feet and unattached to things. And the more that you try to control, or the more that you try to dig your heels into the ground, the less that gets done. And I feel like at the end of this retrograde, you guys are going to be like with this Fool energy, and you're going to be like, I don't really give a shit anymore. Like, I tried to help. I tried to change my plans. I tried to show up and be there. Okay, I was the calm person, but I kind of feel like you guys are getting to the point of the end of this retrograde where it's like, I don't really care anymore. I'm going to do my own thing. Okay, and if you don't want to go on the vacation or the trip with me, that's fine. I'll go by myself. Okay, I'd rather be by myself on my own adventure than dealing with people who are being very controlling, controlling about the money, controlling about the schedule, controlling about how things get done. It's like, at the end of the day, I'll just go by myself and do whatever the hell I want. Okay. And that may involve a change in monetary plans. If you are going to go by yourself and say, fuck it, I'm not going to depend on these people for this, I'm just going to do my own thing, right? Then you may have to reorganize finances, okay? And maybe you're like, at this point, at the end of the retrograde, you're like, I don't care if I have to change my plans or reorganize my finances to make something happen. I'm not going to have what I'm doing, like, constantly worried about I'm offending somebody because they think I'm trying to control something that I'm not. I'm just trying to, and you know, having good people skills and having good negotiation skills are really important during Mars retrogrades, because people do pop off, and sometimes it is better to just ignore drama and focus on your money and focus on your own thing, right? Pile number 2, we have Serapis Bay and Ascension. Move into your true self. Rise above the darkness. The light is here. Okay? Yeah, rise above the darkness. Don't be attached. Don't get attached to difficult situations with control freaks. Okay? Use your people skills to stay out of situations or to negotiate a better deal for yourself financially. Be open to changing plans so that you can ascend and move beyond a particular issue. Okay? And if you're like, oh yeah, like this person is getting in a fight with me, or I'm getting in a fight with myself because I want to control this outcome, it's like, rise above it. Okay? Use your people skills to negotiate. If you want to just go on the adventure by yourself, decide to do that and move your financial resources accordingly. Hathor, mistress of harmony, the goddess Hathor. Yeah, and again, people skills. You know, who is actually like a calming, neutral presence during this wild retrograde? Okay, I feel like it's you, pile number 2. You can be in the middle of things and keeping your calm and keeping your head on straight, okay? And I feel like you are the mistress of harmony, and you are using your people skills to negotiate and get the best deal on something financially. And you're avoiding getting into control issues by keeping your eye on the higher ideal, on the higher prize, which is adventure and being able to go off on your own, okay? And this is mediation, communication, and culture, okay? And a lot of people can be culturally insensitive when we have a Mars retrograde in Cancer, and can do things that are very culturally insensitive that, you know, pile number 2. I feel like you guys are kind of like, Natalie, I've had it, okay? I'm tired of trying to show these people the right way. I'm tired of having to like change what I'm doing to avoid facing off with these people. I just want to do my own thing. I get it. Pile number 2. I get it. And I feel you are going to be moving away from, as soon as this Mars retrograde is over, you're going to get some time to do your own thing. Okay? You're going to get some time to go off on your own and not care what other people are saying or doing, or how your actions are affecting control freaks and stuff like that. I feel like you're going to get your time. We have solar flares and activate. Okay? And I feel like this whole Mars retrograde is showing you guys how much you like being on your own and how much you like doing your own thing and just going off by yourself. Yeah, you are a people person. Yeah, you are good at handling challenging personalities and control freaks and keeping a smile on your face, and you do have really good people skills, okay? Some of you may, because of that, you may excel in fields like hospitality, working with the public. Um, you may really excel at those things because you're very good at keeping the peace and keeping the harmony and thinking on your feet. All right. Especially when you get into new situations and you're having to negotiate a lot more. Okay. But I feel like it also activates, you're like, oh, I need to get away from these people. I just want to go be by myself and go on an adventure. And I feel like this whole Mars retrograde period is good for you guys because you start to get serious about new financial goals, I feel, and you start to care less about pleasing everyone else, and you start to activate some dreams that you've been thinking about for a while, but you've been going back and forth on because maybe the funds weren't there or the resources weren't there. And it's like, no, I am going to save up for that. And I am just going to go do my own thing. And yeah, I am going to go travel on my own. And I feel like this Mars retrograde is really good for waking you up to that. Pile number 2, as much as other people have been annoying and have been trying you, you've been doing a really good job, I feel like. We have goblins. And here you are ascending from the goblins, okay? And yeah, there's been some goblin energy around you, but it's almost like the tough or difficult energy activates you to go back and analyze some financial goals or career goals or work goals that you may not have realized or thought about had you not run into these goblins, okay? And I feel like you guys are moving above the darkness and you're moving above the goblins here, all right? And there's just a little bit of retrograde left, pile number 2, and then you can just collapse on your bed and take a long nap and then get up and go do whatever it is that you want to do on your own time, okay? And because some people have been on goblin time, pile number 2, and whether it's people gobbling up your resources or control freaks who are just see that your light is shining and something within you is being activated and they just don't like it because they want to be the ones in control. Okay, I feel like what you guys are saying is I'm sick of tap dancing for these idiots, Natalie. I'm sick of it. Okay? And perhaps this Mars retrograde has really shown you guys where control issues and people challenging you can actually be good for you and activate you, but you also are sick of dealing with these damn goblins, and I don't blame you. We have take action. Yeah. And I feel like that's what you guys, like, this Mars retrograde is showing you where you need to take action, and it could be instead of like ignoring something or disassociating from something or appeasing people just to make the situation go away, okay, which is helpful. It's a survival skill to be able to do that. But I also feel like having gone through this Mars retrograde period, you guys are like, oh yeah, I am definitely ready to take action. I'm definitely ready to put my money where my mouth is. I'm definitely ready to stop. Like, and maybe there was something you were like, I don't know if I want to do that, or I don't know if I'm ready for that, or I don't know if that's the decision I want to make. And it's like this Mars retrograde is like, no, I am taking action. I am putting money towards that. I'm putting a deposit down on this trip, or I'm putting a deposit down on this procedure, or I'm putting, something that you were back and forth on that you couldn't really make up your mind about. You're like, no, I am committing to it. I am putting money down to do this. I'm sick of this bullshit and I'm taking action, and I am going to put an investment down. I am going to put money down on this. And I'm not going to talk to these goblins about what I'm doing because they're very negative, okay? And they like to challenge like your ideas and everything that you say or do to kind of get yourself out of a situation by telling you something isn't going to work, or trying to take control over what you're doing. And I feel at this point, you guys are like, no, that's it. I'm putting down a deposit on something. I'm done waffling around. I'm done, going back and forth about it. I'm putting that money down and I'm committing to this thing. So pile number 2, good for you. The advice is to activate and take action, okay? That's the advice. No more waffling. Commit to it. Pile number 2. Okay, so that is what I'm getting for you, my friends. Let's go ahead and move on to pile number 3. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose Earth Star Activation, and today's reading is about the Mars retrograde recap, okay? And we're going to see what has been going on for the last couple of months. Mars has been retrograde since early December, and next week we are going to be coming out of this retrograde. And I know a lot of people are going to be real happy to get out of the retrograde, okay? And heard a lot of stories. It's definitely been a very feisty retrograde, okay? So let's go ahead and see what lessons we have learned here from this retrograde and what we are going to take forward with us, okay? Pile number 3, let's go ahead and jump into your reading and get a Mars retrograde recap here for pile number 3. I got that song, I'm sitting up in my something something and I'm chilling and I'm feeling good, okay? So maybe you guys are chilling, all right? And I'm sitting, I can't remember how that song goes, but it's like, I'm chilling and I'm good. I'm sitting up in my da-da-da-da-da and I'm chilling and I'm good. Anyway, pile number 3. We have Justice here on the bottom of the deck. We have the Queen of Skulls, which is the Queen of Pentacles. We have the 2 of Scepters, which is the 2 of Wands. And we have the Ace of Scepters, which is the Ace of Wands. All right. And action, action, we want action, right? We have the Throat Chakra. We have shame and guilt. Fill them without judgment. Mistakes do not define your worth. Compassion and acceptance. Okay, interesting. We have Pisces coming through here. So there could definitely be something going on with a Pisces, or perhaps you have Pisces in your chart here, okay? Something with a Pisces. We have taking steps. Action is key to getting to where you need to go. You can't wait around. Take a step in any direction to get unstuck and find opportunities. Yeah, action, action, we want action. I was actually going to say that when I saw this 2 of Wands and Ace of Wands, okay? Action. And, you know, Mars retrogrades, Mars is the planet of action. Okay. And, you know, and during retrogrades, that can be where we're going back to review things that we've done in the past or actions we've taken in the past. And we're deciding how we want to um, move forward with a particular situation. Now, for you guys, pile number 3, I am getting something about a love situation here for you guys, okay? And I'm getting at something that you've been hanging on to emotionally. And I'm getting that you guys want to talk to someone about something here, okay? And that you're wanting to have a deeper conversation that sets the tone for something going forward, okay? Pile number 3, and I do feel like there is a lot of emotion, a lot of excitement, a lot of like sexual energy. I'm seeing the tower in the background erupting, okay? And there is a question with this Pisces card here about do I feel safe to explore this situation with this person? And there is a need to want to talk about something on a deeper level, to talk about feelings, okay? To talk about emotions, to talk about where we've been holding ourselves back from taking action on something because perhaps we were scared, okay? There's a need to want to talk about something and take steps towards something concrete and committed, okay? Queen of Pentacles here. And there is a wolf by her side, which I feel is protective. Pile number 3, okay? And there is perhaps some guilt or some shame here about mistakes that were made in the past when it comes to one's emotional state. Like, I want to protect myself or I want to protect my feelings. But I feel bad because I also know that by not talking to this person, I'm not being honest about what I'm feeling. And I want to talk to this person and I want to take steps to being more honest with them. Okay. And there is this burning fire of desire. Okay. And there is a need. I feel like on the masculine side here, whoever is embodying the masculine energy in this situation feels like they have to be really tough and really strong about something and very macho about something, and that they cannot really talk about their feelings or be softer about something because like masculine energy is supposed to be strong, it's supposed to be fiery, it's supposed to be like not having any fears, not having any concerns, just going for something in like a very ravenous, bloody, conquering and kind of a way, right? Versus not feeling okay to, or feeling shame about expressing feelings or expressing the softer side of things, okay? And that's where the Pisces energy is coming in here. And this whole thing of masculine energy is supposed to not be a baby or not be a sissy and not talk about feelings and always be strong all the time and always looking for conquest and always looking for sexual release and always after um, like and the masculine really wanting to um, protect the feminine and feeling shame and guilt for asking for softness or asking for um, vulnerability, right? And how one feels about vulnerability, which is really Mars in Cancer type of energy, because Mars is debilitated in Cancer, okay? And Mars is in its fall in Cancer. So it's a tough spot for Mars. Mars is a planet of conquering and action and courage and bravery and suck it up, champ, that type of energy. And whether we're a man or a woman or whatever we consider ourselves to be gender wise, right? That we can all have this aspect where we feel that we have a hard time showing our softer side, or we have a lot of shame around our emotions or being vulnerable or needing to ask for help, okay? Or needing to communicate a need or an emotion. Or that if we are being emotional about something, we are being pity, like we are asking for people's pity, or like it's very hard to, everybody wants and needs emotional connection and needs, everybody, whether you're man, woman, whatever you are, everyone needs compassion and healing and understanding in their life, okay? And we can start to feel bad for asking for what we want and need. We can start to feel less than for having a need or having an emotion. Or we can feel very protective that we don't want to show that part of ourselves and that we always have to be this really strong warrior figure. Otherwise, if we ask for what we need or we show a vulnerable side, we're going to be shamed for doing that. Okay. And a lot of times this can come up in relational dynamics as well. Okay. And when we are getting to know people, when we are, talking to people, a lot of these roles of masculine and feminine, they are very highlighted, whoever is taking that energy in the situation. Women can sometimes take like the masculine role in a situation too. I have to be tough. I have to be strong. I can't ask for help. I always have to be independent. I always have to be like, I can't be vulnerable. I can't show my softer side. I can't show my vulnerable side. I feel extreme shame when asking for help. I feel extremely vulnerable asking for what I need. It's very hard for me to give verbiage to that throat chakra. And it's very hard for me to take steps towards getting to where I need to go because I need help, or I need people to show me mercy, or I need some type of softness in order to let another person in and feel like I can really commit to that and feel like I can really open up to that. And her legs are crossed here, and she has a wolf protecting her. So, it's like, I don't want to be sexual with someone that's just going to treat me like a conquest. I don't want to be with someone who's just excited about, bedding me down, and then later I can't talk to that person. I can't share my feelings. I can't be emotional or oceanic with that person. And if I do try to be vulnerable, I feel very shamed for doing that, okay? And some of you could have grown up in situations where you had to be very independent and you had to be very strong and constantly like blooming with new energy and excitement and conquest and responsible and going after what you want and everything, and there was no way to like depend on anybody, okay? These types of situations where all we have is we have demands for commitment, and then we have somebody who is hell-bent on conquesting. These situations are very classic, but they leave us empty, and deciding on whether we're going to, if our legs are closed, it's like, no, I don't want to, and the wolf or the dog here that's protecting her is a big dog, and maybe some of you do have a big dog, or but the dog is like a little bit overweight, or maybe some of you are worried about your weight in a situation, or putting too much weight on a situation, because there is something here about weight as well. And this Two of Wands is like, I'm strong, I can lift you. And there's just like a lot of things here about, I want to be excited about a situation, but I'm also like scared that my vulnerability is not going to be taken care of and is not going to be held in a way that, in a way that feels good to me, okay? And this is very Mars and Cancer retrograde. Like, can we show vulnerability? Can we, do we feel safe, right? Cancer is a sign that has to do with safety. Do I feel safe, okay? Now that all my fantasies are coming true with this person, Ace of Wands, Pisces, do I feel safe to let this person hold me, okay? And this can be where we feel guilty for having a fantasy about someone, or we feel bad because we are fantasizing about something, okay? So there's that going on. We have limitation. Obstacles are not what they seem. You can get around them with some careful thought, or simply choosing something better for you, okay? And if it feels like you're stuck in this loop and you are attracted to this person, you do want to go there, you are excited, but there's things that you're having a really hard time talking about, or having a hard time sharing, or I want to be with this person, but I feel like I want to take steps to being with them, but I feel like there's a lot of limitations, or there's a lot of things that keep me away from being with this person. And it could be my own shame or my own sense of vulnerability, that I feel like I can't really show myself to this person, okay? So there's attraction, there's excitement, there's fantasy, but this is where reality meets fantasy, okay? And it can be very vulnerable in that moment. We have Green Terra and Supreme Protection. Again, I was talking about the wolf with the protection. You are protected. Cords are being cut. Move beyond limitation. Trust, okay? Taking a risk with the Ace of Wands, or saying yes to something even if you do feel vulnerable, knowing that you are protected, okay, is going to require trust. It is going to require communication, throat chakra, and taking steps beyond limitations, okay? And who knows, maybe this person is also feeling the stress and pressure of performing and conquesting, and maybe they have issues around that too. Oftentimes, like, the people that we attract or the people that we have in our life, they have similar issues to what we have, you know? They protect their vulnerability as well. They have shame around being vulnerable and needy as well, okay? And talking about these issues, throat chakra, and taking steps towards trusting something is, you know, where if we want to see something bloom, and look at all this beautiful blooming around her, if we want to see something bloom, then we are going to have to be a little bit vulnerable and take a risk and go into a new situation, and transcend those limitations. We have Lady of Mask and Shaper. And this could have to do with issues of vanity and surface appearances, and, you know, whether we feel comfortable with our body. And this could also be about reclaiming part of who we are as a sexual and magnetic being, okay? And if you find yourself wearing different masks around different people, trying to be what they need as a way to avoid vulnerability, this is definitely coming up during this Mars retrograde. And right after this Mars retrograde, we're going to be going into a Venus retrograde from March 1st to April 14th. And that gives us like this thing of, okay, what is beautiful? And do I feel beautiful? And how do I want to reclaim who I am? And in a way that isn't surface or vain, right? But a reclaiming of who a person is, okay? And reconnecting to one's physical self in a healthy way, right? In a way that isn't, you know, that isn't like just about vanity or surface appearances, okay? And that is definitely something coming up here. We have Vesta and Hearth, feeling very protected. This is a fire that is growing, that is very protected, okay? And this is where we feel like what we desire is safe, okay? What we are trying to conquer and do is actually good for us. And that, you know, we can keep those fires burning without burning ourselves in the fire, okay? And we have card 32 here, so some people could be in their 30s. But to me, this is also about taking care of our health and taking care of our sexual health as well, okay? And maybe that's something you guys are doing, whether that is revamping your wardrobe, revamping your hair, facials, certain makeup, stripping down to reclaim what's yours as far as your desire and your inner desire goes. But I also feel like this Vesta is very protective, and it's very much about having a fire that burns, that is very a protective and cleansing fire, right? And Mars in Cancer is about having that sense of protection, or feeling like my desire, my courage, my fire, it's protected and it's seen and it's being taken care of. And my desire is not just being flung around in the universe at whoever comes my way. I actually feel protected and safe with someone, okay? And that's very important. Sexually, that's very, very important. Like, to feel safe with the person that we're with and not feel like we have to wear a mask around someone, or feel like we have to be, like we've got to be someone that we aren't around somebody, okay? And we have here Wizard of Awareness, okay? And becoming aware of these issues of I need to feel safe and protected in order to trust someone, in order to open up to someone, in order to be sexual with someone, I need to drop the masks. I need to drop the vanity. I need to allow myself to be vulnerable. I need to talk about what I'm scared of and let that other person listen compassionately and be there in that. And I need to feel like I am a protected person, and that will help me move beyond any limitations that I am having to opening up to someone. Okay. And also becoming aware that you may be feeling this, pile number 3, but your partner or future partner or maybe feeling this too. Like they always have to be tough, or they always have to be strong, or they always have to be on top, like that type of thing. And realizing that everybody, like as human beings, we all kind of have this issue that we're becoming aware of, where we feel like we always have to pretend to be someone we're not in order to attract someone or get someone's interest, which at the end of the day doesn't work. And we end up feeling shame and guilt about that, when what we really want to do is feel like we're safe and protected, and that, desire is really nurtured in that space of feeling protected, okay, and having trust. And here we have no, okay? And this is about saying no to something where you don't feel safe, okay? Now, something may look beautiful, all right? You see this big, beautiful fantasy, okay? If something comes up, no. Spirit you see the angel talking to her here, okay? If something comes up, no, it's for your protection, okay? And as they say, rejection is divine protection and redirection. So if there is a situation where it's like, I am not feeling safe, or I'm not feeling, Spirit wants you to say no to that situation. And if there is something that doesn't come together like you wanted to, or like the fantasy that you've projected on it, Spirit just wants you to know that that no is actually good, okay? And this can be where we understand, Wizard of Awareness, we're becoming aware that in order to feel desire, sexual, we need to feel safe. We need that to feel like something like the fire is being nurtured. Otherwise, the answer is no. If all they care about is superficial appearances and dicking someone down to the best of their ability, sweating over them, grunting, and then rolling over and leaving, that's not where we want to be, pile number 3. And that's an uncomfortable situation. And that's when saying no to something is actually the most like self-protective thing that you can do. Now, Mars retrograde in Cancer is talking about how we instinctually protect ourselves. Even if we feel like the pressure is on to say yes to something, or we've built up this big fantasy, so now we have to say yes, there's always the option of saying no, okay? Pile number 3. And first and foremost, need to feel trust, safe, and protected, and that we don't have to wear a mask of vanity in order to, that we are truly accepted for who we are as a person, hairy legs and all, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, we're not perfect. We may have missed a spot while we're shaving. Oh, and if that person freaks out over that, it's like, yeah, no, like, that's not what we want, okay? We're not looking to be pillaged by the village idiot, right? Pile number 3, we could always say no to something that makes us feel like the vanity and the conquering is the only thing that they want, okay? So that's a good thing about Mars retrograde, teaching us about our limits and our boundaries and saying no, and knowing when we feel safe and protected in order to make that decision. And we have justice on the bottom of the deck here. So there is a decision about a particular physical situation here that needs to be made. And for some of you, that decision may be no. And it's okay if it's no, okay? So pile number 3, that is what I am getting for you, my lovelies. Hope you have a beautiful day. Take care.